G'day everyone, welcome to Roy Morgan's Market Research Update. I'm here with Julian.
G'day everyone, this is Julian here with the Market Research Update as Max stated.
And today we're talking about Daniel Andrews' approval rating. We've had some pretty interesting SMS poll results with a lot of responses.
That's right, we had over 1,300 people respond to this poll last week, and we asked people whether they approve or disapprove of Daniel Andrews, the Premier of Victoria. Obviously, we just asked Victorian electors this, and then we asked them why they approve or why do they disapprove of Premier Andrews, and there were a lot of interesting responses there, Max.
So what was the top line? How many people approved of Daniel Andrews as Premier?
Well, the top line showed that just over 60% of Victorians approve of Daniel Andrews in terms of the way he's handling his job. So you had just under 40% who disapprove. And this was a little bit down from a year ago, but that's not surprising because we've had more lockdowns since then, but still a very high level of approval.
Well, why don't we look into some of the reasons, reasons people stated for their approving of Daniel Andrews' performance.
Yeah, that's right. We've got all the data here and all the things that people have said. And
you can see this on our website as well. You can download the full report.
The full report is available on the website for anybody. And you had a lot of people who approved Daniel Andrews. They really brought it back to the COVID-19 response, and they're very impressed with everything that's been done to prevent that virus really going out of control, and including having lockdowns and rolling out the vaccines now recently has been something that other people have also liked about what he's done as leader.
Yeah, he said he quite literally saved 65,000 lives by making the difficult choices of lockdown.
That's right. So a lot of people didn't like lockdowns, but actually a lot of people did appreciate the lockdowns, as Max says, because it saved lives. And we've got a lot of people saying that. We've got people here saying because each and every one of the lockdowns was the right thing to do. The COVID lockdowns worked, and he was prepared to make the tough choices. And that comes back to his leadership. And you have a lot of other people here talking about his leadership throughout the pandemic, and they like his strong leadership. He's a solid and reliable leader who gets things done. He's provided strong leadership and straight communications on what he's up to. And that's sort of another facet, his communication skills with the public.
So many daily press briefings. A lot of communication there.
Yeah, it's been appreciated by the majority of Victorians.
I mean, the lockdown it was like mandatory viewing. You had to tune into the press briefing.
You had to find out what was happening, didn't you? We all did.
Why don't we see what some of the disapproval responses show?
Yeah, so you had about 40% of people say they disapprove of Daniel Andrews, and you might have seen some of these people out protesting, I guess, recently. Not all of them though, most of them aren't at the protests, but they do disapprove, and they bring it back and sort of flip it around, and they like to say he's arrogant and he's dishonest and he's too self-righteous. And some of them do say they think he's a dictator and he's acting like a dictator. He doesn't consider regional areas. He's an authoritarian wannabe. I mean, a lot of these people are not happy, and one can maybe assume for some of these people that they've had a big impact on their business.
Yeah,
I guess.
Some of the responses did say that there was that. Too many lockdowns impacting not only the metro area, but also regional zones where there were no cases detected. Blanket state closures have caused many local businesses to close permanently. Yeah,
that's right. So, if you have been personally heavily impacted, you're probably going to fall in one of these categories as a disapproval. Victoria's had the world's longest lockdown, someone said, and they're not happy with that.
That is accurate. That is accurate. It was the world's longest lockdown.
Yeah, so it hasn't worked for everyone, basically. It's been unfortunate in that sense. You have someone here who claims the lockdowns have killed so many more people than the virus did. Suicide, they bring up suicide, loneliness of the elderly, couldn't have family visit, businesses dying, never being able to open again. So, a lot of people have those views, and that's impacted them in that way. And then you also have the new thing coming through with the pandemic legislation that's being debated.
Yeah.
So there is quite a few people who disapprove who bring that up. I'm concerned about the new pandemic legislation, someone says no vaccine mandates in the state of emergency laws, the dictation of mandatory vaccination rules is abhorrent. So you have that coming through as well. That's not everyone though. That's still a smaller part of the disapprovals.
Well, what I find interesting is, so we have So our poll, what we did with SMSing a wide variety of people in Victoria, had 60% approval.
Yeah.
Then when we posted the same question on our social media, on Twitter, we had 90% approval of Daniel Andrews.
Yeah, I think that says a lot about who is on Twitter, basically. And we can analyse that as well later. But
and on LinkedIn, it was like 80% approval, 70%.
Yeah.
It was very high approval. So make sure you follow us on those channels so you can see that. I think it's interesting. It shows that independent research will give you a better idea of what the people are thinking.
That's right.
Rather than social media.
Not everyone's on these social media channels, that's for sure. Twitter especially has been known to be a smaller channel. Can be influential, but it does have a certain sort of people that are on there.
Yeah.
And LinkedIn maybe a little bit less so, and then Facebook maybe a little bit less so again. More representative because it's larger. But that is, as Max points out, that is why it is important to do real polls of people, because we get a representative sample of people all throughout the interviewing area, whether it's a state or the country, all ages, incomes and everything that you can find out about someone. We'll make sure it's all balanced so that it represents the population.
That's it. Well, make sure to subscribe to see more of our market research updates, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.
Thank you.